ഇന്ന് ഇതാണോ ഇന്ന് ഇതാണോ ഈ കസേര നിരക്കല്ലേ സമയം കഴിഞ്ഞേ Hello my dear students, very good afternoon everybody. We are here to discuss the Hindu dated January 1, the first day of the new year. I take it for granted that all of you have read the newspapers very well. We have got many exams coming, so it's a time that we all pull up our socks and work really hard. Reading of the newspaper is very essential for success in any of these examinations. You all know that. I have tried my best to make you understand the importance of reading of the newspapers, keeping a diary of events, and that is essential for the upcoming exams. I remind all of you once again that the Staff Selection Commission has notified the 2020 CGL, the Combined Graduate Level Examination. The first tier will take place in the month of May and June. So you have got full 5 months to prepare. ICD Udyog Seva has got the SSC platform to learn. Those who are regular students in the institute will get Udyog Seva's SSC free of cost to you. So make sure that you all go through the materials in a systematic manner and learn. Really 70%, nearly 70% of the topics are overlapping for all these exams. So with a little bit of extra effort you can clear, you can get qualified for a larger number of vacancies. So ensure that you prepare simultaneously for bank as well as SSC. So we are going to start the Hindu daily dated the first day of 2021, January 1. Vaccine is close to approval, hints Drug Controller General India, and core sector output shrinks 2.6% in November. These are the major news. So the first question is given straight away: who among the following is the Drug Controller General of India? This office has come to the limelight for all good reasons, because when the vaccination program will start will be decided by the Drug Controller General of India. Give me the answer, who is the Drug Controller General of India? Okay, straight away I have started getting the responses. Let more responses come. Fine, everyone says the same. It is VG Somani who is the Drug Controller of India. Very good, very good. So I am proceeding further. The second question: the Prime Minister has laid the foundation stone of the All India Institute of Medical Sciences in Dash through video conferencing recently. Where has Prime Minister laid the foundation stone for another AIIMS? Yes, you are correct. It is in Rajkot, Gujarat, that Prime Minister has laid the foundation stone of the All India Institute of Medical Sciences through video conferencing. Very important. nation's Prime Minister is laying the foundation stone for an important institution in India. So, that is very important. So, you should take down and you should keep that in mind. Very good. So, I am proceeding I am proceeding further. Vaccine close to approval, hints DCGI. VG Somani, Drug Controller General of India, indicated at a webinar on Thursday that country was close to approving a COVID vaccine 19. So, vaccine experts, he told the vaccine experts, infectious disease experts and representatives of companies developing vaccines discuss its development and India's preparation. We will probably have a happy new year with something in hand, he said while discussing the regulatory process. Okay. Prime Minister also suggested that vaccine was at hand. So, a dry run will be conducted by all the state governments and union territory administrations on Saturday with the objective of preparing for the rollout of COVID-19 vaccine, the Union Health Ministry said. India may be at the cusp of a vaccine, but companies involved in testing have flagged challenges in recruiting volunteers. Bharat Biotech said it had recruited 13,000 volunteers, half its target. So, everything has got challenges. So, these are challenges that we did not know, that companies are not getting enough volunteers to test the efficacy of the vaccine. Okay. So, these are all initial challenges. Society may have apprehensions of its own, but soon we will overcome all, because India's experience with vaccination program is something that others can only envy at, because we have got 4 vaccination program, universal vaccination program, and which we have been conducting for the past many years very successfully. So, India has got much more experience than many other countries as regards vaccination program. The initial difficulties will be easily overcome by our country. Core sector output shrinks 2.6% in November. 8 different sectors form the core sector: the fertilizer, electricity, steel, cement. These are all coal, these are all make the core sector of the Indian economy. These core sector, in most of these core sector, the major investor is the government. So, the core sector has not picked up so far. With the pandemic, the core sector shrunk like anything. Output from India's 8 core sectors hit a 3-month low in November, contracting 2.6% in the festive months, with coal, fertilizers and electricity the only sectors to record positive growth on a year-on-year basis. So, only coal, fertilizers and electricity that have improved on a year-on-year basis. All other sectors are negative. So, through one side the government claims that the economy is back on track, but the core sectors are not doing good. Fertilizers, of course, it is quite natural that fertilizers will pick up, because this is the sowing season in most of the states. So, it is natural that fertilizers will pick up. Even fertilizers is the only core industry that has not shrunk during the most of the COVID times, but all other core sector performance went down like anything. Electricity has come back to their usual regular improvement. So, coal is also picking up, but electricity except coal, fertilizer and electricity, all other 5 core sectors are doing badly. The good news is that the index of 8 core industries was revised upwards for both August and October based on updated data inputs received by Office of Economic Advisor in the Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. Core sector output shrank by 0.9% in October compared to earlier estimate of 2.5. So the initial estimate said that it was shrunk by 2.5%, but now the revised estimate says that in the month of October the core sector output shrank only by 0.9%. These figures are not important, but you should know it as a story. You should know that during the COVID time the core sector did not do well. It has shrunk. So that is the information that you should have. You should know, number one, that core sector is made up of 8 sectors, major sectors. So when the core sector shrinks, very natural that the economic performance shrinks. In August the contraction was only 6.9% against the original estimate of 8.5%. Electricity output rose for the 3rd month in a row, albeit at the slower pace of 2.2, while coal production rose year on year by 2.9%. Okay, so coal has been back on track since last month, and electricity is also growing steadily, but the growth is not that high. But anyway, during the pandemic, all these are good news. Please be familiar with all the terminologies and how the economy moves. Ending the deadlock. This is the Hindu editorial. It's about the meeting of the protesting farmers with the government. Out of the 4 contesting points that the farmers have made, 2 have reached some kind of hopeful situation. So the balance 2 the government will discuss further with the farmer. Farmers' concerns are not uniform in India. Concerns of farmers in Haryana and Punjab and concerns of farmers in other states are different. There is no uniformity in that. Punjab farmers have traditionally been enjoying the benefits of MSP, while there are many other states there is no MSP at all. Farmers from Punjab and Haryana have been the major beneficiaries of government procurement, while government procurement is absent in many states. Take the case of Kerala. As regards paddy is concerned, the procurement is available only to farmers in Kuttanad and in Palghat. In other places there is no government procurement. The government has agreed not to penalize. So what are the major victories for the farmers? The government has agreed to not penalize farmers for stubble burning. As per the original government stand, farmers who would resort to stubble burning would be punished under criminal provisions of law, and there would be a penalty of 1 crore. So on this count the government has gone back foot. Government said that government has decriminalized stubble burning and there would not be a penalty of 1 crore imposed on anybody who burns the stubble. Second, the government has agreed to safeguard power subsidies. This was one of the concerns of another concern of farmers, that power subsidies will be taken off, but government said that they will not. They will continue to provide power subsidies. Farmers demand, what are the 2 concerns of farmers still pending? Farmers demand complete repeal of all 3 farm laws, in which government has not succumbed to so far. Farmers demand legal guarantee for MSP for their farm produce. Listen, government said that they will give a written undertaking. They will give a written undertaking that subsidies will be maintained. Sorry, MSP will be maintained. But written undertaking may not have any long-term legal validity or no legal validity at all. The government of the day may continue to entertain the undertaking or written undertaking for some time, but since it does not have a legal backing, maybe in the days to come it may not be an ineffective tool with the farmers to enjoy the benefits of MSP. What they demand is that there must be a legal provision to ensure MSP. So the government may not provide this. A government may not provide legal guarantee to MSP as it is not related to three laws. Listen, even now there is no legal guarantee to MSP. The farmers have started suspecting everything because government enacted three laws, and now they demand that there must be legal guarantee for MSP, which the government may not succumb to because it is no way connected with the three laws that it enacted recently. Of course, reforms are needed to ensure that India has a productive, sustainable and remunerative agricultural sector. There is no doubt. Indian agriculture has grown like anything in the past many years. We know that our granaries are full. We have got a production of 300 million tons of grains. So the services of the farmers cannot be undermined, and mind you, we have got 60 lakh tons of sugar to export. So we have got surplus as regards grains, we have got surplus as regards sugar. But the issue is that farmers should be helped, their concerns must be properly addressed, and there is no doubt in anybody's mind that reforms are needed. You cannot throw the baby with the tub water. If there are issues with the agriculture sector, the procurement, those issues must be addressed, but the new laws may not be the, or complete making the laws upside down may not be, or complete turnaround may not be the answer. That is why the farmers suspect reforms are needed. Everybody knows that reforms are needed to ensure that India has a productive, sustainable and remunerative agriculture sector. So I am moving on to another article of the Hindu. In less than a month there will be a year since India confirmed its first SARS-CoV-2 case in Kerala. Kerala was the first state to report COVID-19. From then and now, India looks infinitely more prepared in terms of testing capacity, vaccine candidates in development, public awareness and kaleidoscopic experiences of those who have been exposed to the virus. Okay. However, the report of the new variant from UK and confirmed in at least 25 travellers from there puts India back on the base of a new learning curve. Listen, but it is very clear the Pune Institute has confirmed that the new strains of virus emanated from Britain and that has reached India through 25 travellers. When the samples were tested, they were not that potent, or we have nothing much to be seriously worried about. Anyway, read this article. I used to tell you continuously that vaccination program, COVID vaccination program is going to be an important event in the world and in India, and of course that will get reflected on your question papers also. So you should closely watch and read and take note events that are taking place in the vaccination with regard to the vaccination program. The next question is given to you. On January 1, 2021, the interconnect user change IUC ended as per the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India TRAI. What is IUC? What is IUC? The charge that was to make up for the cost incurred by the rival network for completing the call, the cost that the telecom companies have to give to TRAI, the cost that telecom companies have to give to the government, or the cost that the telecom companies have to give to BSNL as a compensation to the large, less profitable rural network it maintains. What is your answer? Give me the answers of yours. Is it first, second, third or fourth or fifth choice? Okay, my students are widely, the answers are not uniform, students are divided amongst the choices. Somebody say it is first choice, somebody say it is 2, somebody has voted for 4, nobody has given the option, yeah, there is an option, nobody has given the option 3. Okay, the correct answer is the first option. The first option is the correct one. The inter-user connectivity of 6 paise had to be paid to rival network when customers of one network makes calls to customers of another networks. Suppose you are a customer of Airtel, and if you make a call to Vodafone, then the Airtel has to pay 6 paise per call for the other network to entertain the call or to complete the call. So that is what is called IUC. But with January 1, 2021, the interconnect user charge IUC has ended. Why has been it in the news recently? The Reliance has decided that they will make the calls to other network free. So there will not be any inter-user connectivity charge, and that benefit will be passed on to the customer, says the Reliance Jio. So that is why it came in the news. So please read, IUC will not be there from January 1, 2021. I am proceeding. Jio calls to all network free from today. That was the news, and it was in this connection that I asked the question on IUC. Please read and try to understand. Nationwide vaccine dry run from tomorrow. The nation is preparing for the biggest vaccination program in the short span of time. In 1 to 3 years, it would take up to 2024, it said, for the vaccination to complete. The government clearly mentioned that the vaccination is not going to be a universal vaccination program. The government does not plan to vaccinate all the people. Government says that they may stop the vaccination once the chain is broken. Once the government realizes that further vaccination is not required because further infections become 0, then the government may even stop vaccinating. But anyway, it is going to be a major, the vaccination in India is something that the world itself is looking at. The objective of the dry run for COVID vaccine introduction is to assess operational feasibility in the use of CoWIN. What is CoWIN? You know, it is the IT platform. So, I am sorry, the CoWIN. What is CoWIN? It is the software developed by the government. The objective of the dry run for COVID vaccine introduction is to assess operational feasibility in the use of CoWIN, application in field management, to test linkages between planning and implementation, and to identify challenges and guide forward to actual implementation. So that is the purpose of the so-called dry run. How to ensure that the linkages from the company to people, how the linkages are smoothly done, and to understand the challenges that the government would face or the vaccination program would face. Use the COVID application. You see, people have to be vaccinated 2 times in a span of say 2 weeks. So how to keep the record, how to track the record, etc., that are going to be the major challenge. So that is what is the purpose of a dry run, how we are going to manage the actual vaccination program. That is the purpose of dry run. An important focus of the dry run will be on the management of any possible adverse events following immunization. So another major task of the dry run is to understand the management of any possible adverse events following immunization. So that is the purpose of dry run. Please read and try to understand. India strongly condemns Aden airport attack. So we know that in the airport of Aden in Yemen, there was an attack. The Prime Minister of Yemen narrowly escaped the attack. So India has condemned the attack of Aden airport in Yemen. Colonel Bull Kumar, Siachen hero, passes away at 87. Please try to understand that he was responsible for finding out that Pakistan was slowly trying to encroach Siachen glacier. So it was his report that prompted the government of India to capture Siachen glacier. The highest, what is Siachen glacier? The highest fighting point in the world, the highest army base in the world. So Siachen glacier in 1984, it was captured by India, and India started focusing seriously on Siachen glacier in 1984 following his report. He was a Padma Shri awardee, he was a Param Vishisht Seva Medal, Kirti Chakra and Ati Vishishta Seva Medal, a recipient of MacGregor Medal awarded to armed forces personnel for military reconnaissance. Okay, so the battalion headquarters on the glacier close to an altitude of 16,000 feet above the sea level is named Kumar Post in his honor. So Colonel Narendra Kumar passed away. Please take a small brief note of him, very important. Britain leaves Europe's single market. Britain has finally moved out of the European market, leaving the 500 million single market. Britain has moved out of the European Union with a deal. Britain has been able to finally arrive at a deal with the European Union on its future trade customs relations with Europe. The problems are not going to end. Problems may trigger off now with regard to Northern Ireland and Scotland. Anyway, please read. I have already discussed about the European Union and the exit of Britain from European Union in detail. In many days I discussed. The EU has lost 66 million people and an economy worth 2.85 billion. That is the loss of European Union. So European Union has lost 66 million people and an economy worth 2.85 trillion, not billion, trillion. But Brexit, with its appeal to nationalist populism, also triggered fears that other disgruntled members could follow suit. That is the challenge. Will European Union withstand temptations of many other countries to move out of it is the major challenge that European Union faces. Okay, so please read. Fiscal deficit shoot up to 135% of the target. Every year during the budget time, the government says that it will contain its fiscal deficit by this much. There is an act called FRBM. What is that? Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act. It is a guarantee given by the government to the parliament that it will try to reduce its fiscal deficit to a particular level. How can the deficit be reduced? To reduce the deficit, expenditure has to come down, income has to go up. But as far as fiscal deficit or any kind of deficit is concerned, it was a very bad year for any government. Thanks to COVID, economy was shut down for many a month, so the revenue was impacted negatively like anything. In the first 6 months, it was well and truly negative. It was only in September that GST collections slowly went up, and October and November, of course, we have got a 1 lakh crore plus GST collection. So government also lost a few months as regards tax collection. So the governmental revenue went down, but COVID has posed a challenge. Public expenditure has to be increased. So through one side, the expenditure has to increase and the revenue came down. Thanks to this, government's plans went off the track and the fiscal deficit shoots up to 135% of the target, meaning if government wanted to control the fiscal deficit to 100 rupee, it has overshoot and touched 135 rupee. So government said that its income, its expenditure over income could be 100. That was the government plan. If that were the case, it is already, we are talking only about December. We have got 3 more months to go, but already it has touched 135% of the annual target. So that is what the article says, and same is the case with the revenue deficit also. So try to understand again, please take note of these terminologies. These are things that we will frequently discuss. India must raise the bar on anti-money laundering systems. It is this particular report is come out with by the State Bank of India. This report says that the Financial Action Task Force FATF, which acted stringently on Pakistan, has yielded, the actions have yielded results on Pakistan. Now the article says that India also has to be more serious about money laundering. What is money laundering? Money laundering is a process of making ill-gotten money a legal source. The money is ill-gotten, but thanks to numerous financial transactions, this ill-gotten money will appear to be formal. That is what is called money laundering. So the country has to be more serious in containing money laundering. That is the essence of this write-up. India's banks had already begun using artificial intelligence and machine learning tools to identify transactions that don't follow the usual pattern. They are also trying to improve the compliance culture among frontline staff who often fail to get details under know your customer norms. So India is already doing a lot of things. Banks are also doing a lot of things to contain money laundering, but we have to be more careful. That is what the article, the write-up says. The SBI official said that FATF work had been fantastic, as it had been able to do what UN Security Council resolutions had failed to achieve in terms of taming terror activities in Pakistan. So the article says that what UN Security Council could not do is what FATF has done in terms of Pakistan. Pakistan is notoriously known for financing terrorist groups. So FATF's actions have tamed Pakistan effectively. That is what the article says. FDI inflow rises 21% to 35 billion in April to October. It's a good news for the country. Country is badly in need of foreign investment. The article says that FDI means foreign direct investment. FDI inflow rises to 21 to 35.3 billion in April October. FDI is always welcome. For India to sustain its growth momentum, growth of GDP, we require investment, more and more and more investment. So investment in the initial phase of economic growth, any economy will be investment driven. To India's benefit, we have got a huge customer base also. Economic pundits say that China, which started its economic momentum, growth, economic reforms in 1978, it was in 1978 that China started its economic opening up. Then in the initial years, many years, it was driven, the growth was driven by more and more investment, FDI, etc. So in the initial phase, the growth of any economy will be investment driven, but later on it has to be sustained by bigger consumption base. As regards China is concerned, economists have got doubts regarding that, but thanks to India being an open economy, thanks to India being a democracy, the growth momentum that has built through greater investment will be maintained because of the larger consumption base that we have. Okay. But in China continues to be export driven. China's growth is always driven by export. Initially in investment, now based on export. But India has to develop a domestic market for all its products. We can do it because of the larger domestic consumer base, customer base that we have. So please read, that is a very good write up to come to know about all these terminologies. Thank you very much for watching the program. I enjoyed every bit with you. I believe, I take it for granted that you too enjoy the program. Please make sure that you participate actively. Those who cannot participate live should watch the program later, and please help us grow the base by subscribing to our social media channels, subscribe to our YouTube channel, give likes to our Facebook page, make sure that all other social media channel of ICD Kollam are also promoted. Thank you very much for being with me. We shall have another live program at 3 o'clock. I would like to remind you that today's 3 o'clock program is or will be available to all students, all, not just to our students of the application. Thank you very much. Goodbye.